Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, and if it's your first time, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Now today I'm here to share with you my thoughts on why I like these two villains. And I know you shouldn't like villains, that's such a touchy subject, like people be like, why would you like villains? You know what I mean? That villains are always the bad guys and something like that. But yeah, I just really like these two villains, and I'm just here to share with you, like, why I like these two villains. And I know it's an excuse because you shouldn't like villains, because they're bad. But the first one that I really like is Killmonger. Um, and yeah, that's the villain in Black Panther. I think he's I don't even know. I think his quotes are too controversial, so I don't even want to get into it. Um, but however, the second one is Thanos. Big fan of Thanos. But yeah, Thanos is just a wow, man. I don't even know what to say. He's just such a bad guy, you know. But his quotes are so powerful. Like it pulls you in. Like, I understand what you're saying. Like one of his quotes goes something like, let me see if I got it here. He said, fun is not something one consider when balancing the universe. And first time, I heard, that quote, I was like, wow, that's actually really deep. Like, because most people don't even think about what he's saying. But the part that makes me like, get like chills, but he says that it brings a smile to his face. So the whole quotes go like this: fun is not something one consider when balancing the universe, but this bring a smile to my face. I was like, oh, I got chills just because that quote, to this day, it just never leaves me. It's just always there. Like, it's like really, really so powerful because I don't know if many of you follow Thanos and when he was younger, what he'd been through, because all villains have a story. Most people don't really go into the background of villains to see what their story is, but yeah, Thanos is pretty much, he's coming from the bottom, bottom, and he was struggling and everything, and he sees the world for the way it truly is. Like, okay, perfect example. Like what's happening in today's world, today's social media, today's society. I'm talking about worldwide, guys. I'm not just talking about in the US. I'm talking about worldwide. A lot of stuff is happening that is really, really messed up. Okay? And for big people with a lot of money, like for instance, there is a rumor going around with the whole Bill Gates situation and vaccine situation. Like a lot of people that are paranoid or people who are they're more, just thinking that the government is always trying to harm someone. Kind of, there's those people. Yeah, they're pretty much everywhere. When you find these people, you find that most of the time, they're coming from like a bad place. Happy people don't really go around and saying things like this. But anyway, yeah, Thanos is coming from a bad background, but what I don't like is that balancing the universe. I don't know. That's like getting rid of maybe trillions of people. You know what I mean? In the snap of a finger. And the way he puts it like, he's doing those people a favor. And for me, and I'm like, wow, like, it's just, in a way, you have to look at it because it's sad what's happening, especially like right now in today's world. And when you see like natural disaster, like all over the world, like there's a lot of kind of what is volcano, flood, like the storms are going crazy, the weather's going crazy, earthquake going. Listen, like all kinds of disaster. It's like amplified, like it's getting worse. Like it's not like years ago. you don't really hear about stuff that much. Like, you don't hear a lot of storms, you don't hear about a lot of volcanoes, a lot of earthquakes, and all these things. You just like maybe once in a on a blue you would hear something like that. But now it's frequent, like all the time. The weather is great. Like when it's hot, it's really hot. When it's cold, it's really cold. Sometimes when we're supposed to get snow, we're not getting snow. We're supposed to get rain. It's like before everything was balanced and everything worked as the plan of the world. People would say universe, but I would say just of the world, because the world operates in a certain way. Everything has to be balanced. Even the ocean has to be balanced. The air, has to be balanced. The sun has to be, everything. The plants, everything has to be balanced. But we, as people, we're doing some wild stuff, some pretty wild stuff. And so my point is of this whole thing is that I like Thanos as a villain because I get where he's trying to get at, but I think he's just going about it the wrong way. And in a way, I'm just saying that for me, I shouldn't really have fans who think, okay, I'm a villain and I like you because you're a villain. And, I shouldn't have fans like that, but a lot of fans actually like Thanos just for the simple fact that he's trying to balance the universe, including everywhere. So because he sees the struggle that people are going through, and currently, right now, people are going through a lot of stuff, like stuff that's unfair, and it happens so frequently, and it is very, very sad. That's why, for me, I try my best, guys, not to really, watch too much social media, especially when it could be propaganda. Sometimes it could just be stuff that's a lie, and people just want to mislead you, and they would say all kind, so I try to stay away from all of that stuff, because even if you're watching the news, you don't even know what you're getting. Like, people want to think that there's real journalists. Trust me, go and talk to a real journalist, and then you'll see for yourself. I don't want to say anything about it. I did some research on journalists. So back years ago, there was such thing as journalists, and these guys would go on the front line when there's war going on. No matter what was going on, these guys would be there, and they would get the news, and no one would be there to tell them how to share their story. But now, everywhere you go, there's a producer. Everywhere, whether it's music, news, movie, like, how, what, I wouldn't be surprised if the people who run countries had someone who produced stuff, like, someone who helps them to create narrative, someone who helps them to put out a certain image, certain story. I wouldn't be surprised if someone tell them how to turn stories around, because everywhere they should have like a producer in the background. Well, you know what, this is what you need to do if you want to get the crowd to be on your side, the people to love you. This is what you do. So yeah, I just think it's crazy. Yeah, but I don't want to get too much into this, because it's probably going to be a really long video, and this was supposed to be just something real quick on why I like Thanos, but I didn't really get too much into details. I just want to say that Thanos had some really cool quotes. Before I go, let's see if I could share one more of my favorite quotes, because I have lots of quotes from Thanos. He also have a quote. He said, "Dread it, run from it. Destiny still arrive." Now, many people probably don't even understand what that means. Okay, and if you're smart, you get what he's trying to say. We as people, everyone has a destiny. And I know people, they don't believe in that stuff. Trust me, I don't want to get into details to express like one destiny that we all have. Every single one, that's a destiny. It's going to happen no matter what you do, but I don't want to get into that. But that's what you call a destiny, something that no matter what you do, you could delay it, you could like maybe do stuff to kind of like make it not happen as fast, but destiny is destiny. Like whatever is going to happen, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. It's not many things that we can change as people. I think the choices that we have is really limited. You know, don't think that we have like a huge span of choices to make, you know, because we don't really have that big of a choice. It's like really small choices that we could make, and we just make the choice that's best for us. And yeah, guys, that's just what I wanted to share with you. Thank you guys for tuning in like always, and I will see you in my next upload.